Now that Project 200 is starting to get a little bit more serious, I thought I'd start building a more sensible project car. Our new project car is this 2003 model Subaru WRX STI. You're probably wondering why I chose an STI instead of a normal Rex for a budget build. Well, the answer's pretty simple. The part differences between a WRX and an STI are worth more than 3 times the difference in the purchase price of the cars. So let's take a closer look at some of the differences between a normal Rex and an STI. Well, let's start with the motor. The STI motor is a semi-closed deck block, making it stronger, and the pistons are hyper-eutectic semi-forged pistons with a high silicon content, making them much stronger while still being quiet and resisting thermal expansion. The heads are also freer flowing and the cams are more aggressive. The inlet manifold is also different. WRXs have tumble generator valves to help with low-down torque, but they restrict flow at higher power levels. So the STI has a conventional inlet manifold for better flow. These differences in the internals means that we can push the STI motor further before we have to crack it open. The turbo is also larger, being an IHI VF35. STI road cars run bush-bearing turbos for durability, but the VF35 still supports approximately 100 horsepower over the standard TD04 turbo of the WRX. These turbos are designed for use in Group N rally cars running through restrictors. This is why WRXs spike to high boost levels before dropping off, as it's easy to run big boost at mid-range RPM airflow levels through a restrictor, but harder at high RPM. STIs spike as high as 19 psi before dropping back to 12 to 13 psi, as can be seen by this dyno graph. This makes the car feel really punchy coming onto boost, but a little bit flat up top, even though it's still making power. Also, these boost spikes are a little bit dangerous because in the mid-range, when the car comes on boost, that's when it's most prone to getting detonation. An electronic boost controller, as well as a front-mounted intercooler, should smooth that boost curve out and give us a more consistent boost across the revs. The intercooler and piping is also upgraded on the STI for better flow, and its efficiency is also increased with a larger scoop with a splitter and an intercooler water spray. Injectors are slightly larger, but are still only capable of around 200 kilowatts at the wheels. The other bonus with the STI is this beautiful 6-speed gearbox that they come with. It's an absolute dream to use. This gearbox is designed for Group N rallying, so it's much stronger than a factory WRX gearbox. The entire casing's different and stronger, and the gear set is stronger and thicker as well. The gearbox also has double synchros on first and third, as well as triple synchros on second for faster gear changes and for extra strength. The gearbox is also a close ratio unit for better acceleration, and it's got a short shifter to give it its better feel. STIs also come with different LSDs to the normal WRX. They've got short track LSDs both front and rear to help give extra grip and also to reduce understeer on corner exit. Braking hardware is also upgraded with larger rotors and larger Brembo brakes all round. Those brakes sit inside STI wheels, which are an inch wider than standard to fit bigger tyres and to clear the brakes. Underneath there's also STI inverted struts, springs and dampers. The other good thing about the STI is it looks tougher and it's got better aerodynamics to boot. If you take a look at the bonnet, it's got a larger bonnet scoop to let more air into the intercooler. Down on the front bar, you can see that where the normal fog lights are, it's been covered up, but they still let a duct in there to get air to the brakes. If you look on the side of the bar here, this side canard actually creates turbulence to go around the wheel for better airflow. The side skirts are also different as well, and if you get up to the back, you can see the nice big STI wing for extra downforce. The interior is also more stylish straight up, with blue suede trim, leather trim steering wheel, STI gear knob and pedals, and different trim around the dash. The dash is different with a central tacho and integrated shift light, and there's a cool startup sequence. If you were to go down to Subaru and buy all these parts for your WRX, you'd spend over $50,000. So you can see why the STI is much better value. It's also got more potential using the factory parts to get more power and more performance. My plan for the car is really quite simple, to give the biggest increase in performance for the least amount of money. Like my last project car, I've set the cap of the budget at $10,000, which isn't really a whole lot for a performance car these days. That money's going to go towards the engine, the drivetrain, the suspension and the exterior to create the overall perfect package for the street and for the track. We're also going to enter the car into a few rallies this year, so you get to see it in action. Well, the first thing to do with the STI was to take it down to Mainline to put it on their dyno and check the car out. Mainline dynos will be used through the development of the car due to their consistency and accuracy, as well as their ability to log over 500 different sensor inputs at once. Standard STIs put down between 135 and 145 kilowatts, but ours with the 3-inch exhaust put down a best of 175 kilowatts after 3 warm-up runs. I was quite surprised by the power level of the car and how good the tune was. I also picked up a WRX front-mounted intercooler kit from our new sponsor Hybrid. We'll be installing it and testing it in our next issue, so stay tuned.